watched a film and it was glass. Turned out it was a load of us. Seemed like the real thing, it was as good as the Avengers. Also, it was a movie about some guys. They went crazy in a mental hospital and did some stuff. There was some also things about just being tough. And also there was people there. Hurd Ya Saw. That'll do. But now this mic is hot too. That's twice the hot mics than usual. Put it down gently. Oh, I think my mum just texted me. Okay. Sharp, let's go. Welcome back to Hurd Ya Saw. We just watched Glass. Glass. So I'm joined by Chay.
Were your bones just broken as you fell on the ground?
No, the beast was trying to come out, and I'm going to stop him by making duck noises. So I'm joined by Chay.
Hello.
And Sean.
Hello.
And I think, is this our official first podcast of the new year?
Of recording, but you
released podcast since.
At least it's one since.
There'll be another going up soon. Widows will be going up. This grounds it temporally. Fans of the show. Nothing makes sense.
No.
The timeline is in ruins.
Yeah.
So we begin, as ever, with our round, a spicy round of one-line hot takes. Tell you what, I'm gonna go first.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Twist!
Exciting twists! My one-line hot take is that is one of the worst psychiatrists I have ever seen in film. Jesus! That's my one-line hot take.
My one-line hot take is, this film is trash, but M. Night Shyamalan is somehow a good filmmaker in that he can keep momentum going and never have anything be boring. But it is also trash.
It is also trash. Yes,
Trash.
that's a good take. Way to be nuanced, Chay.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Sean.
M. Night was not nuanced.
No. I'd say this is the most nonsensical superhero film I've ever seen, and I've seen Suicide Squad.
Oh, that was going to be my other one-line hot take of this. This is the true Suicide Squad.
Yes. Ooh. So, I'm gonna say a couple of ground rules first. Hey, listener. I honestly think that if you want to form an opinion about this film, you really have to go see this one. I think you do. Don't go see it. It's bad. But, it's trash. It's fucking garbage. But, no matter what we say, it's not going to fully communicate the weird experience it is to watch this movie. Because it was very unique, for lack of a better term. So, ideally, we're going to do a non-spoilery first bit, and then we'll do the spoiler klaxon, and then we'll actually go into full shit.
Can we... Because I want to talk about Split.
Wait, before we get to that, can I say one other ground rule, which I don't think either of you guys would do this, but I want to put this out to the ether. We're not going to make any dumb jokes about M. Night Shyamalan's last name, because that shit's actually kind of racist.
Yes.
So we're not going to do that.
It is.
Yeah, cool.
Agreed.
Yes, so
I just can't pronounce his last name.
That's fair. We won't, as long as there's no malice there.
No.
So, you want to talk about Split first. So before we get into the movie, should we do some context? Because you guys had some stuff about Split and Unbreakable.
Sean wants to talk about Unbreakable. Yeah, so there will be spoilers for Unbreakable and Split beforehand.
Yes, but to be fair, if you're watching Glass, that's kind of part of it. And if you hear me chewing in the background, it's because I'm eating spaghetti.
Yeah, this isn't because we want to. We're just trying to give filler for Nick to eat. Because the beast is hungry.
The beast must feed.
Sean.
Yeah, so with Unbreakable, I've been saying this a lot at work about my sort of weird love-hate relationship with M. Night's films. I really like Sixth Sense, especially if you don't know the twist.
Yeah. That was a legit good twist, yeah.
Signs, I enjoy Signs, even if the twist is riddled with plot holes.
Yeah, I think also Signs, more than some of his other films, I think it's actually trying to say a thing.
Yes.
There's a good character arc in there for Mel Gibson.
And I haven't seen Signs, but it did birth the greatest Duplass Brothers film, which is Jeffrey Lives at Home. which you should all check
I've
out.
not seen that.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
the good Duplass brothers film. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, I'll add that to my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really like The Village as well.
I quite like The Village.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I know so many people who don't like The Village because of the twist. I think I really enjoyed the twist.
Yeah, I don't think it's tremendously difficult to see it coming.
No,
but
no.
It's simple concept and it executes well.
Yeah,
And you're like,
it's a simple
yeah.
twist, but it works.
Yeah, and you're like, this was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I've had fun here. So you were saying, what
this
is
is
the
the
hate aspect of?
So this is the thing, like, when I was at college, I watched, we were doing about, I think it was about directors, and we decided to settle on M. Night Shyamalan. And we were shown The Village and Unbreakable. Now, my opinion for both films was completely different to every single person who was in my course. Like, I really liked The Village, most people didn't. Most people liked Unbreakable. I fucking hate Unbreakable.
Here we go. This is going to be the
it's-
second podcast where we dunk on Unbreakable.
Oh my god,
Which one was the other one?
We did we watch it like in
I
the,
don't think we recorded our dunking.
No, I think we explained the ending to EJ and they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Oh, when we watched...
Was it The Mummy?
I think it was The Mummy, yeah.
Yeah,
'cause-
Brendan
'cause we
Fraser
somehow-
Mummy.
Yeah, because
Okay.
we somehow got onto Glass. Yeah, Unbreakable, like many people were watching the film and that, and they really enjoyed it, and that, and going, oh my god, I can't believe the twist, who knew Samuel L. Jackson would be the villain? And I'm just sitting there, Steven, going, of course he's the villain! It's Samuel fucking Jackson!
And it's like just the weirdest ending.
I'd like to just make a correction. It's Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah,
Big
whatever.
big Samuel.
If you're gonna say Samuel L. fucking Jackson, you gotta
That's
get
too,
that L.
that's too many words. It's just something. It just annoyed the hell out of me so much because I could see the twist in that film from a mile off and that, and everyone is just like, "Oh my god, it's so clever! I never saw it coming." It's just like I figured it all out an hour into the film.
So with that being your take on Unbreakable, how did that inform your expectations for Glass?
Very, 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 very low.
Right. Shay, you had things to say about Split.
Yes. So I watched Split on my exercise bike, knowing that I probably wouldn't enjoy it that much. But anyway, so it's actually kind of weirdly enjoyable for a brief 30 minutes.
Okay.
And Casey is the main protagonist in it, and James McAvoy is the Split personality that you see, and is the character going on to Glass.
Kevin.
Yes. Kevin is
And
the
others.
main person, but anyway, so the ending of Split, Casey has a traumatic past. Spoilers. Her uncle abused her sexually. It's very dark and horrible.
Right.
So eventually, Kevin, as the beast that is gonna feed on these pure girls because they haven't had any trauma or been broken, is gonna feed on these girls. And at the end, the beast sees Casey has scratch marks and everything, and goes, "Oh, you've been broken. You have trauma. Therefore, I'm not going to hurt you." So she didn't escape through any skill or any of her intuition or from her trauma or anything.
Yeah.
She didn't have agency from her trauma that made her escape. She just had trauma, and therefore the beast was we're the same, by the way. Because I've got trauma too. We're the same. I'm a monster.
You're a monster too, used up girl.
So yes. And then the ending of Split is, it's ambiguous about whether she goes back to her uncle, which is her guardian, and luckily Glass clears that up. Anyway,
Yeah.
the terrible thing about Split is okay, so that's a movie, and then at the end, suddenly it cuts to a diner where there's
the diner. Was it the diner in Glass?
I don't remember. There was a diner in Glass?
Well, I mean, I can't talk about it because it happens at the end of the film. The bit where the people did the talking. Fuck it.
No,
never mind.
no, different diner.
Okay, cool.
Different diner.
I hope that was vague enough,
No,
audience.
that would be a much better connection. That would be a good way to link the films Unbreakable and Split.
Right.
So there's news about a horde of a multiple personality guy who kidnapped a bunch of girls, and he's on the run. It pans round the diner as this newscast is playing, and comes onto this woman who is the worst actor in the world. I'm sorry, woman. Who goes, "Hey, this is just like that thing, that guy 15 years ago that was in a wheelchair that got locked up.
Oh, you were joking.
What was his name?"
No.
And then just behind the woman,
No.
Bruce Willis appears and goes, "Mr. Glass."
No, you are
God.
lying to
No,
me.
that's the ending.
Oh
and
my
what's worse is like it's nothing like Mr. Glass. This is a guy with multiple personality disorders with strength, and Mr. Glass was a guy in a wheelchair with broken bones
Who crashed a train
who
and
caused
stuff.
acts of terrorism. It was nothing like that, lady.
Oh.
Why? That is the tenuous link that is brought up, and anyway, Glass. Should we get into
So
it?
wait. So, and how did that inform your expectations of Glass?
I was like, this film has a lot of work to do to bring this stuff together, and
Did it do enough?
it did kind of bring it together, but in a stupid way.
Yeah. So, the premise, in case you haven't gleaned from what we've thrown out there, audience, is Jesus Christ. Bruce Willis is a strong guy from the movie where he was strong, durable guy who's afraid of water and can read people's thoughts by bumping into them.
You might say he was unbreakable.
Yes. He's being a vigilante superhero in a rain poncho with his son, who's like his comms man, and he's trying to find James McAvoy. A Blades of Glory reference, why not? He's trying to find James McAvoy, who is the Horde, who are like kidnapping exclusively teenagers, cheerleaders no less. Chaining him up. Yep, chaining him up, being weird, and just saying, the beast's gonna come and get you, and I love it. Dance. And Bruce Willis is trying to stop him, and he has a vision when he bumps into him. He finds out what the girls are. They have a bit of a punch fight. They fall out of a window, and then they get abducted by the police, the security services of the psychiatric hospital. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? It's unclear. But they get taken away to a mental institution by... Is that, Emily Blunt?
No, it's Sarah Paulson.
Paulson, yeah.
Okay, I was like... Oh.
Rhymes with Adrian Coulson.
Oh!
Coincidence? It is coincidence.
It's all linked!
It's a better link than between Split and Unbreakable.
Yes, it
I will say the film would be better if Coulson did turn up at the end.
Just be like, what the fuck's going on here? And she's like, I'm a psychiatrist. Fucking the most big air quotes in the fucking world. I have 3 days, for some reason, to cure you of something. It's unclear. Also, here's Samuel L. Jackson.
Illusions of grandeur,
Yeah.
believing you are superhero.
Sure. Find that in the DSM-5. Anyway. Let's get broad brush thoughts out of the way so we can get into the spoiler klaxon territory. Sean, without going into spoilers, what did you make of Glass? Did it really shatter your expectations, or did it glass you in the chest?
Oh, God.
It's quite a sharp movie. My bones feel brittle from enjoyment.
What you're doing is very transparent here. Because it's glass and glass is transparent.
Why do you guys do this? You know I can never follow up on these.
Hey man, come on, Vaughn's not here, so we have to,
Yeah.
really
Try and fill in, yeah.
break out the puns. Right, Sean, please.
Here's the thing, I will say, I do find it kind of similar to Unbreakable, because I've found most of the film very boring. Because it's the thing, it gets to that, like, after they've had their first fight, the whole film kind of grinds to a halt for about the next, like, hour and a quarter. Like, it is so slow and, like, supposed to be methodic, but it's just drags.
I wouldn't describe it as nippy. It's definitely
No.
got some plot to it.
Mm.
I will say that I didn't actually mind... I mean, this is the problem. Concept-wise, I was like, no, this is actually kind of interesting, of, like, having... If these were different, interesting characters... and they had an actual decent psychiatrist character to try and actually get to the core of them, I'd be happy with just those guys
Yeah.
sitting in a room having a conversation, because I'd be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
the,
sure.
Yeah, the concept of that
My
is
dinner with
interesting.
Andre, Patricia, Hedwig,
Yeah,
Peter,
exactly.
the Beast.
Yes.
Yeah.
But instead we get a be like, but the shotgun was old, and the bars were old,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the problem is that
and things were wet.
this problem also happens in Split. There's a psychiatrist character analyzing the
M.
Kevin's.
Night, you need
the
to
personalities.
diversify your fucking.
And the question is it real? Is this beast they're talking about real, or is it all in their head? And that's the kind of same premise of Glass. And at no point are you like, oh no, it is in their head. It's all in their head.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's real. I know it's real.
We saw him
Yeah.
fight fucking Bruce Willis at the beginning, and also climb on the ceiling and throw each other out of windows and stuff.
But hey, he watched videos about climbers, so he can climb now.
But it's like, this is the thing. The other thing I didn't get is that she's all like, I need to deprogram you, James McAvoy, from thinking that you're meta-human to accepting that you're just a person with multiple personalities, even though you know you're a person with multiple personalities. It just didn't hold together as an argument. I'm like, what about you, Bruce Willis? He's like, I survived a mega train crash and can, like, punch shit real hard. She's like, you're only about as strong as, like, I don't know, a really strong dude. And he was like, my God, she's right. I am just as strong as a really strong dude. And I'm like, oh.
Something that scene, I was trying to think of like something clever about that scene, because it's that thing of like she's basically finding plot holes in their characters, which is basically what audience members do with these films in general, trying to find the plot holes.
I can tell you a great moment in that scene that I actually really liked, which was some fucking bomb-ass filmmaking. Was she talked to James McAvoy, she talked to Bruce Willis, and when she turned to Elijah, went to his POV and it was a Dutch angle, and I was like, that's a great use of a Dutch angle.
The POVs of her are really good.
Yeah.
That scene is shot well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good camera work in this.
He is a good person. He shoots interesting shots.
Yes.
Can't
write dialogue or plots. He has concepts. He's a good concept man.
Oh yeah, Devil was a great. You ever see Devil?
No, I've never seen Devil.
Devil was written by M. Night Shyamalan. Tangent here, where a bunch of people get stuck in an elevator, but one of them is the devil.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
It's great. There's a great moment where the security guard who's like watching from the outside, and there's like some investigator of some sort helping out, and the security guard's like, it's the devil's work, and the guy's like, what are you talking about? It's not the devil. And he's like, hey, well, check this out. And he like throws his piece of toast off to the side, and it lands butter side down, and he goes, the devil. See?
I don't. Wait, are you just making up Shyamalan movies to try and like fuck with me right now?
This is real.
Is it meant as comedy or is it meant as drama?
I don't know. He didn't
Genuine
direct
satanic intent.
He didn't direct the devil. He just wrote it, I believe. Or
And he
maybe
still
came up
thought,
with the story.
and then he wrote, and then beat the toast lands butter side down. Security guard looks confident in his case having been proved. What the okay. All right.
But yeah, I don't know what it is about. He has interesting camera shots, but I haven't seen like his worst of his worst, which is supposedly like Last Airbender and After Earth, which I've never seen either of those films.
I literally.
But I hear they're not shot particularly well, so I don't know what it is.
I literally just forgot that After Earth existed until now. I was like, the one with James
That's
Smith.
literally. I've been going around with people at work, and like, was people going, what has he done in that? And I say After Earth, and they go, hang on, that was him as well.
Yeah,
And it's just, it does seem to be a film that's just slipped everyone's mind. Cause
also, she's all that.
Oh. But the thing is,
He goes through she's all that. Sorry, continue.
Is that
That's
real?
real, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, the thing about After Earth, right? I'm just gonna ride this tangent for a little bit. The thing that I don't think I've ever said on the podcast, the problem with After Earth is that the premise of it is that to become the best sword man, you have to have no emotions to hunt the emotion aliens. Like, that's the thing. That's the premise. And so at the start, Jaden Smith has lots of emotions, and Will Smith has no emotions, and Jaden Smith learns to also have no emotions. You know what's not really very interesting? Characters with no fucking emotions. So it's two characters becoming less interesting as the movie progresses. And it's just like, Jaden Smith wins by lying very still. That's how he beats the alien. He lies still and doesn't feel anything. It's like, what the fuck is... After Earth was terrible. It's not as bad as The Last Airbender, a movie that I've yet to make it more than 15 minutes into before just going, no! I refuse.
I want to break down the ending of Unbreakable.
Okay.
Because it's one of my problems with Glass.
This one's for you, EJ.
As a film. So the ending of Unbreakable, if we didn't already discuss it in the Mummy podcast, yes, we're connected universe too.
Yeah. Sean's going to show up on another podcast later and say, why, hello, it's just like that time Nick climbed a tree.
Hey, I heard you saw this movie.
Sorry, so the ending of Unbreakable.
The ending of Unbreakable, he comes into Samuel Jackson's office.
Yes.
And Samuel Jackson goes, hey, touch my hand. We're going to shake hands. Sees that Samuel Jackson is a terrorist, okay?
Yeah, it's just all out on the desk.
Oh, and then he finally looks around and sees, oh yeah, there's all these plans and this bomb being made here. Well, how did I not see this anymore?
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to Sarah Paulson's mentalist argument later on.
You pick things up through tiny micro things.
Yeah, you notice things quickly. And
You're so observant.
No, he's not observant. Anyway.
I touched his hand, I had a vision, and also I saw a bomb.
What's really interesting about that twist and is not about Samuel Jackson being the villain, but instead everything that has been built up by Samuel Jackson, of Samuel Jackson kind of going, you're the superhero and I'm the villain and we found our place in the world, is that as Bruce Willis finds out what happened to make him believe this, the camera kind of tracks out shakily and handheld and kind of reveals him as like this kind of weak, pathetic person in this like this terrible coat and trousers and kind of like with hunched shoulders, and not this strong superhero person being talked about all along. There's no then like showdown between the two.
No, he just walks.
David Dunn just kind of walks out and it's just title card going, he was then locked up. Like, it's very anticlimactic. Of like, and that's what I think is truly... The ending's trash, but I think that's the interesting twist, is like, actually no, David Dunn is kind of just...
a pathetic person.
Pathetic and ordinary, and like, yeah, sure, he does have this superhero stuff, but he's not a true superhero in the sense of, like, comic books.
Yeah. Oh.
And in Glass, he's then like, yeah, but I'm still fighting along and doing my...
Yeah, I'm going to go be a vigilante with my son. That's what I want to do.
I did like that he used the same actor for the son.
Yes,
yeah,
that was good.
Because sometimes you see recasting and that always upsets me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that person deserves a job. That kid that you used to make your film.
Used? I mean, I assume he paid the kid. Like, I assume.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, sure,
anything else about Glass?
No, I was just about to say, I wonder like what work that the guy who plays his son's done in like in between.
Gotta wait for that sweet sequel. Oh boy!
It's just, I think he's just been waiting around the house.
He'll
call one day. He'll call.
M. Night's been working on something big, and I'm gonna be a part of it.
You're special. Bruce Willis's son.
There's a lot of like just going. Comics are dumb. Why do you like this dumb thing? It's dumb. Life isn't like the dumb thing, and then life is exactly like the dumb thing. Here's a question. Do you think M. Night Shyamalan likes or dislikes comics based on the movie Glass?
I think he does like comics. Like, Unbreakable is him going, oh, isn't comics great? And so's Glass. I'm like, Mr. Glass knows, like...
just for the listeners at home, when Chay said the word Mr. Glass, their face did this kind of...
It's because I said, in the film Glass, Mr. Glass, it was too much glass. But Mr. Glass's whole dialogue is always pointing out the structure of comic books and stuff like that. And I think that's what I do think M. Night Shyamalan kind of likes comic books.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because I feel like he knows the tropes of what you would get from a comic book. You know, it's the thing he does sort of, especially in this film, breaks down all of these sort of little beats that you would have in a comic book.
For me, it doesn't quite hang together enough. This is my thing. It's because like I feel that. I mean, part of this I can't talk about because it's part of the ending. It's one thing to sort of lay out emphatically, have your voice of reason character, even if your voice of reason is a fucking idiot, be like, no, and then you have Mr. Glass, the supposed smartest man ever, being like, yes, and then you have an emphatic, no, and then you have a, oh, actually, yes, and I'm like, I don't think you kind of seem to be wanting having your cake and eat it here. I feel like this movie, on the one hand, tries to sort of have the magic of superheroes run up against the cold, hard boots of reality. But at the same time, it also wants to be a kind of over-the-top, silly comic book movie. And I don't think it strikes a very good balance between those. And it just comes across as a bit confused.
Let me recommend a film which I already did on Aquaman. Special. Special is that film that
It's
you
that
just
movie?
described.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's the
The only good thing Michael Rappaport's done.
Is it-
And his Spike Lee.
Isn't Linda Cardinelli in it? No. No? Is it
I don't
Linda
think so. I
Cardinelli
don't think
or is it
anyone
Aubrey
else-
Plaza?
I think no.
Who's the girl in Special?
No, you're thinking of Super.
Oh, which one's Special?
Special is Michael Rappaport. Super is Ranan Wilson and Ellen Page.
Oh, it is Ellen Page. Yes.
Special is a very different film.
Yes.
It came out at the same time.
Right.
And is better, but because it's less like cartoonish, it didn't get much pickup.
I will look into Special.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, continue.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Does anyone have any non-spoilery points that they want to make?
I actually didn't think James McAvoy was that good at all his characters. Like,
No.
In Split, like he was much more limited in the characters that he had,
Right.
and it was therefore just kind of like he had Hedwig, Patricia, and Dennis, and also
Kevin.
Dennis pretending to be Barry and Kevin and the Beast.
Okay.
And you see glimpses of the other ones in like video.
Right.
And they're much more refined. Of like here, there's a few more introduced.
Yeah.
Some just kind of as jokes, and some like a little bit more. It didn't. I don't think he was that good as.
I think he was trying.
Yes.
I feel like he tried the hardest. I mean, he had the most to try with. Bruce Willis doesn't really have a character.
No.
Yeah. What can you tell me about George Dunn?
David
Dunn.
Alliteration, because comic books.
Oh.
All the aliases have alliteration in their names.
Bruce Wayne.
Damn, you
Dick
got me.
Grayson.
Fine.
Jason
I think
Todd.
isn't it Marvel that?
Yeah, it's the
like
Marvel
Peter
thing.
Parker.
Steve Rogers.
Oh,
Tony
okay.
Stark.
Alright, you got me.
Bing Bang Boom.
Donald Blake. Yeah, Fin Fang Foom's fucking great. He'll put you in his pants.
Aye. I gotta cool down.
Read Next Wave. It's fucking great. No, not Next Wave. Yes, Next Wave. Wait. Yeah, Next Wave.
So that's Next Wave.
I think it's Next Wave. Wait, I can't remember because it's Agents. It's Agents of Hate is the strap line, and it's like it's fucking brilliant. Mark Millar sucks goats. Anyway. Yes.
M. Night Shyamalan appearing in the film as his character from Split, and then having a line. So then I guess, not that I remember his Unbreakable cameo, but I assume he had that line to connect that character to the Unbreakable. Hey, you don't need to be in the film. You don't need to explain your two separate characters.
I did think it
in
seemed
the
a
two
bit weird
separate
that he
films.
was just there, and I was like, "What is he? Why is he? What? That's the director. I know that's the director. I don't remember the memorable character of young man at Philadelphia game." And like, oh good, that character from Unbreakable has returned in Glass. It's just like, it's just M. Night Shyamalan here in the movie. What? For a weirdly long time.
Yeah.
And like getting it like, you know, it's framed that he's more in the shot than either of the other two characters. I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm ready for my close-up.
But that part was just that thing of like, I'm gonna go for my walk. I don't think you should go for your walk. It's
Well, I think
just-
I'm going to go for a walk. But what if you're too tired to go for a walk tomorrow? Just let him go for a walk, kid. Jesus.
It's just that scene is just pure M Night.
See,
Really.
see, if I was M. Night Shyamalan, I would have had his line not be just take a walk, kid. Jeez, I would have been like, this is about drugs. I'm leaving.
Yeah, a more clever line would have worked better.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
also didn't like that the two, Casey and David Dunn's son, went to the same school. I thought that was a bit silly.
No, there's so many connections though.
Yeah.
We'll get into that
But
in a minute.
they didn't even meet at the school anyway.
Yeah.
And I think what I would have liked is if it was much more like an Arkham Asylum. Of
Like-
being that,
Oh.
like it suddenly, like it descended more into like Cabin in the Woods, where you suddenly just saw a bunch of other
Yeah.
heroes and
That would
villains
have been
there, other than
interesting
just
if, like,
them
you
three.
could, like, shown other, people who, have supernatural
Powers.
Yeah, because it was weird that this asylum suddenly had the resources to have the different ways of containing these three individuals so quickly.
But also, they had an entire wing to themselves, but only enough money for like 2 orderlies and 2 really inattentive guards. Really, like, seriously inattentive guards. And nobody watching the security cameras. The hundreds of Okay, alright. I feel like we've said, okay, Sean, would you tell people to see this movie? Yes, no. There's no right or wrong answer, but would you?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Shay, would you tell people to see this movie?
No.
Okay, cool. I'd say get drunk. I didn't this time. But it's
I would also say if you're gonna watch it at home with friends.
yes.
So you can all have a good time rather
Steal
than
this movie.
sitting in a cinema and having to be silent.
Yeah, yeah. You want to be able to sort of go, what? There were many instances of me just going, like making.
Oh yeah, watching
Deep
this
sighs.
watching this film, like how I watch films, I'm just stood silent, watch film.
Very good
That's-
cinema writing.
yeah. But whereas the two of you were a lot more animated.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Nick
hard
more
not to
because it's
be.
just I think Nick was just sort of moving more and more towards me at
There were
times.
just bits of me.
Yeah, I laughed and the person in front of me like
Turned around.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was
I
like-
got just like,
What the hell?
But there was a great bit when someone gave the history of comics, and Nick was like, "No."
wrong.
Oh,
wrong.
Yeah.
They were like, well, first there were things in the 20s, and then Superman in Action Comics #1. No.
It was
There-
just you.
There was
just
a
like,
lot more. There was a whole lot. Oh my god. Superman is not the oldest thing in. Never mind. Okay,
Yeah.
so listener, if you want to go watch it or you care about spoilers still, the spoiler klaxon's going.
I guess if you saw Unbreakable and you saw Split and you liked it, then you probably like Glass. If you like those two films.
Movies that we have trashed both.
Yeah, we didn't like those movies, and therefore we still went and watched Glass.
Yeah.
You.
But here's the thing. I'll tell you what. I'm going to start a spoiler klaxon. I'm going to break the spoiler glass.
Oh,
Breaking glass noises. You're now in the spoiler zone because you've broken through the glass protective casing. Yeah, in case of emergency. So, like, what the fuck is the whole thing with the people in the diner being like, we need to keep the world safe from people with superpowers? They might tip over one car. And, like, we've been doing this for 10,000 years. Let's drown Bruce Willis in a puddle. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, Sarah Paulson turns out to be like an agent for this 4 Clover.
Three Clover.
Free
Clover.
Clover.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a tattoo. And to say, oh, we're the ones who are keeping all these superheroes contained. We haven't managed to stop the comic book industry, though. Somehow. We didn't stop that Action #1 comic being printed. That probably should have been what we did.
Yeah, we maybe just like, oh, we should probably like, oh.
They kill off all 3 characters.
Yeah, no
Or-
more James McAdoodle.
And
no
Bruce
more,
Willis
no
and
more
Glass.
Bruce Forsyth. You know, Elijah
Hey.
Wood is no longer in a
would,
wheelchair.
again, the film would be so much better if Bruce Forsyth.
My special power is dance.
You know what? You're my favourite, James McAvoy.
Nice to see you.
Say you're nice. And you have to say
Good
nice.
game,
That's his
good game.
power. He can just get you to say things that he wants you to say. So, a thing I'll say that I liked. So,
Okay.
one of the things that I liked in this movie was parts of James McAvoy's character's arcs. Because I quite liked that Patricia, who is talked about as the high priest of the beast, has a crisis of faith and has some nice little moments, like when they're escaping through the basement and she's all like, I believe. I like her reassuring herself that even she's not sure whether, despite being physically in the body of the thing that has the powers, she's still not sure. And like her dying words, I always believed you won't tell anyone that I never believed. And I thought that was a really good little arc. That was nice, and it was an interesting thing that could have been what the movie was about. Maybe, like, actually exploring the characters properly. I hate David Dunn. He's so fucking boring. Oh, I don't like it.
No, that's just Bruce Willis nowadays.
Yeah, he's just boring and shit and has no screen presence. Oh my god. And the stupid laser. What fucking laser technician to do a brain lobotomy laser treatment, which is not a and they just didn't think, well, I better just check whether the laser focusing laser lenses are in the laser while we point the laser at this guy's head for, like, I presume 20 minutes. And it doesn't seem to be burning through his flesh to any degree. Maybe we should check the laser. Oh, his plan's falling apart! The thing is, there's a thing in stories of, like, the concept of the idiot ball, where you make other characters look smarter by passing the idiot ball to other characters. Everyone who worked at this fucking psychiatry hospital was holding the idiot ball in perpetuity.
As soon as Daryl
Daryl.
comes in, it's just like, yep, you're gonna die. He's just so inevitable, and he is possibly he's one of the stupidest characters
He
in
did
this
so
film.
many stupid things.
Yeah.
You think, get another guy in,
Yeah.
transfer him.
Yeah. Or just, here's a novel suggestion. If you're being paid by presumably a secret shadow cabal, who I guess...
Well, he doesn't know he's being
No, I know, but like, if you're Doctor... What... Did she even have a name?
She did. I don't know what it was.
Dr. Frostbanger. If you're Dr.
Frostbanger.
I don't know, I'm trying to riff on nothing.
Please explain the name Dr. Frostbanger.
I was going to go Frankenfurter, and then I thought, no, that's too... we're losing time.
Okay.
Dr. Frostbanger, she's all like, she works for a secret shadowy cabal that have been defending humanity for 10,000 years and apparently own a diner where they all exclusively go to dine. It's like members only, but it also looks like a regular restaurant, but yeah, never mind. But
Yeah, it's a regular restaurant and they have to wait every time
Yeah,
for someone
that's,
regular to walk out.
Or just go to the bathroom
And then they
and
go,
then have
okay,
a really
now we
quick
can-
meeting. But the thing is, like, presumably they have resources of some kind, so why would you not hire, like, 2 orderlies to be on at the same time in a version of the buddy system? So if one guy gets killed, it's not like, oh, no one knows that he's dead. Anyone would think that this is like, the kind of checks and balances they have in real psychiatric hospitals in the real world, which they do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just so frustrating when I don't want to be like a plot hole picking like cinema sins. Oh, no one really do that. But it literally broke some of the immersion. I'm just like, well, this all seems entirely preposterous. Like, if you want, Elijah Glass to be a smart boy, make him smart.
Yeah, but it didn't show how he got out of the room to begin with. And I was like, oh, show me how he gets out because he's smart. But
No, he
Emily
just does it.
isn't smart enough to think of a way for him to get out of the room.
Yeah.
So I guess he did with magic.
Yeah. He copied a circuit blueprint and reprogrammed all the
Probably,
things.
Yeah.
I think what I don't like about so it's there's so many things.
There are many
God.
things.
Okay, before I talk about what I want to talk about, could we talk about the twist of Kevin's dad?
Oh.
Okay, so Joseph Dunn, who's David Dunn's son, finds out what actually happened to Kevin's dad and created the trauma to create the beast. And Kevin's dad didn't get on any train to go
Away.
away. He got on the David Dunn train.
The
train.
the death train.
The
David
death
Dunn
train.
Death Train.
That
Available in all toy
that
stores.
Mr. Glass blew up, and therefore Mr. Glass created the Beast to.
The fatigue in your voice is
Uh,
quite telling.
and
I think we all went some variety of when
It's-
this happened.
Yeah.
and it's
I feel like we're the only row.
it's like, hey, let's flash back to Kevin Crumb's dad on the train. Look, here he is. That's Kevin Crumb. Just in case you didn't know, there's a suitcase
Says
with
Crumb
his
on
name
it.
Crumb.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then there's David Dunn on the train. Okay.
What was the purpose of that?
It was so that someone killed Mr. Glass. That's why.
I feel it
And to be like, look, he creates superheroes. That's his thing. And it's like, yeah, but he did that one accidentally.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even realize.
No, he said I created. It just took a long time. 19 years.
So what I didn't like is that there's 3 other characters who are David Dunn's son.
Yep.
Casey, who was the only surviving victim of Kevin.
Yep.
And Mr. Glass's Elijah.
Mama Glass.
Mama Glass. And what I thought was, and there's a big point where it's like, when one person appears, the opposite appears, and I was like, oh, but Casey's gonna have a superpower, right? Because they're constantly talking about them being the same.
Shay,
And-
you're giving that movie
I
way
feel like
too much
she
credit.
would come in and have like a superpower and finally have agency, because I want her to have agency.
No, she just has to grab Kevin and hold him.
Her
for a bit.
agency is physical
Hug.
bodily contact.
Oh, the line where she says, "Oh, the I'm an actual psychiatrist, allegedly, being like, you have to work with me because you can offer him the physical expression of love." I'm like, bitch, where did you get your degree?
This is literally that thing of like, you can fix him with the power of
I'm
love.
like, what are you? I mean, the thing is that Casey gives her a weird look and walks away, and I'm just like, okay, I honestly should have twigged that she's actually not a psychiatrist, but working for a secret cabal, because she's obviously fucking stupid and mental. This is not how anything works. You don't just my head.
Here's my question to you all.
Oh god.
I have a question.
Pop quiz.
So, Samuel Jackson, because that was my theory of what was going to happen. Samuel Jackson is lying on the ground, and his mum comes up and goes, "Oh, I thought this was a limited edition comic book." And Mr. Glass like, "No, it wasn't a limited edition. It was an origin story."
I thought David Dunn's son was going to punch
Yeah, I
someone's
thought
head off.
David Dunn... Like, I thought they were going to have superpowers. Anyway, do you think there are going to be more movies
Oh, I fucking hope not.
in the Glass cinematic universe?
Oh.
Give it 10 years.
Yeah.
Another one will come out. Turns out Elijah Glass wasn't even dead. He fake broke all the bones.
I didn't.
Okay, yeah, well, sorry.
No, it's the thing with the ending. Like it seems to like the film's trying to give the impression that because all these clips have been released, that superheroes will start to rise up and that because of it, and it's just like. No, it's like they're not going to believe these people are actually superheroes. Just like that's a good YouTube hoax.
The Cabal creates loads of trolls to say fake.
Yeah. Like, it's no... wasn't it such a nothing ending shot?
Oh yeah.
There was trying to be something, but was actually nothing. Because they sit in a station, hold hands, and go, this feels
in
like
one
the
of-
start of something.
I guess what
It
it was.
one of the most least populated train stations I've ever seen.
Weirdly empty train station, yeah.
I guess what it was trying to be like, because Unbreakable came at a time when there wasn't a gluttony of superhero films as being like the main movie media conglomerate that it is. And now it's like, look, but now superheroes have expanded so much on everyone knows about it. It is the most important thing in all media that I think that's what.
So you're basically saying it's a metaphor for the rise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, which doesn't need a metaphor.
Yeah, 'cause it's right there.
We all see it every day.
It is escapable. Oh, just. I mean, okay. Try and say something nice, Nick. Try and say something nice. fuck. I've talked about the camera's work. That was good.
That was good. The camera was good at times.
Sam Jackson got to sit down a lot. That looked alright.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do much. He spent a good half of the movie sitting there just looking vacant.
And then finishes the film lying down.
Yeah, just restful.
Here was the one thing I want to
The
see.
one.
The one thing I want to see from the Glass cinematic universe. It won't happen, but this is what I would love to see.
Yeah.
Is like a prequel TV series or movie set like back in like the 30s or 40s, where the secret cabal is trying to stop
Superman from being written.
Yeah, stop the comic industry, and the comic industry is actually kind of like a spy industry of trying to document history. That I would like to see. Like,
that's not bad. I'd give that a whirl. I'd watch the first episode of that on Netflix. just saying.
or Amazon. We're open to anyone. who
Yeah,
wants to
anyone
fund.
with a bucket of money. You know. I mean, Netflix.
Well, that's the thing. This was distributed by Disney, so they're Disney streaming.
Disney streaming.
I had a friend of mine say a thing that, just on a minor tangent, a friend of mine said that he reckons within 5 to 10 years, Amazon and Disney are going to kill Netflix.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But also, Netflix as an entity comprises of apparently 50% of all internet streaming.
Netflix is also such a brand of like people
know what
Netflix.
it is. Yeah.
And Amazon, although it does have good stuff on it,
Yeah.
has terrible UI.
Yes. And you have to have Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Which
is much more expensive.
mine just expired because they tricked me into getting a free trial, and I was like, no, cancel. And they were like, oh, you've lost access to that. I was like, no, I didn't want this.
And like I said to Sean, the Disney streaming site, whenever that comes out, is going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Because Disney they value their stuff highly and they don't drop the price.
Yeah.
Just like Disney DVDs are still £10 forever and always. They will never go down in price.
Yeah.
And so whatever this streaming site is going to cost is going to be a lot.
Well, Lord of the Rings is the big Amazon hope. The Lord of the Rings TV series, which is apparently going to be the most expensive media thing ever. Because you know how Jeff Bezos is worth more than several countries?
Yeah.
They're just like, Jeff, can we have a lot of money? He's like, I suppose. And they're just putting everything they've got behind it, and it's not about the quality of it. And again, I'm regurgitating my
Oh, no.
No, it's fine. I said the word regurgitating and then burped. That's awful.
God.
Do you want me to edit that out, Shay?
It's your podcast.
You know I don't do edits. It's all uncut, unfiltered. I wish I'd burped again. That would have been great. I'm regurgitating my friend Adam's points, and he's just like, it's less about whether Lord of the Rings, the series, is particularly good. It's about having the most expensive show on TV. Because that's a draw. And they can just sort of say, you come to Amazon, you can see the most ridiculous stuff ever. You know, Netflix, well, they have a ton of money. Their animation project is going to be crazy. They put a ton of money into it. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, sorry, we were talking about a movie called Glass. I feel like the fact that we've wandered away.
Our attention was split.
Oh, that's good. I thought my focus was Unbreakable, but alas, you've proven me wrong. Looks like I'm the lady in the water.
Did that make as much sense as Lady in the Water?
Use your sixth sense, you'll figure it out.
You'll see the signs.
Yes! I got there first. I think that's your first pun of the
I
show.
know,
Sean.
I'm so happy. It's only taken, nearly 2 years.
So, does anyone else have anything more they want to say about Glass? This
don't.
movie was poop. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It just made me tired.
It's not a point, but I just found it hysterical just when Joseph, Casey, and
Mama Glass.
Mama Glass
Yeah.
all just turn up at the asylum all at the same time.
Yeah, they
It's just
don't...
the most convenient. Oh, Joseph's there, now Casey's here, and here comes Mama Glass.
Oh yeah, but it's shot them through the window.
Yeah.
I didn't recognise who Joseph was, because I was like, well, there's Mr. Glass's mum. There's Casey. Who's that tall guy? I was like, I don't know who that is. Is that... Daryl's dead, so... Why did they let Mr. Glass have... Okay, so, here's the thing. They had pens in fucking, Split Boy's room. You know, with dangerous people with psychiatric conditions, you don't give them implements that they can turn into weapons, even if you have a flashy thing that makes them unable to move through the door. But the other thing is, it said it would stop automatically if he got to a certain distance and if his personalities were dangerous. Couldn't he just turn into, like, I don't know, Patricia and shut his eyes and just run for it?
That would be smart. Also, the whole Jade has diabetes, and that's why she has insulin injections. But if you've got a device that can change his personality, just
Your
flash
diabetes
Jade.
doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, and then Jade goes away.
Yeah.
Anytime Jade is
What
like,
was Daryl doing in that sequence when
He just keeps hitting the Flash. It's just
Yeah,
like,
Daryl the tall, stupid orderly.
hey, I really want to show. I want James McAvoy to have a reel.
Yeah, give him a sharp implement.
Yeah.
I would have been like, how did you get this syringe? I'm taking this away. You know, I don't care if you lose a foot, you're only in it for 3 days, it's fine. But equally, like, and he instead of just leaving the room, he just keeps mashing the flashy button because we needed a scene where we had a lot of personalities in it.
Yeah.
There are just so many decisions. Why? Why do this?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Okay, so on that like slightly like dour note, I'm gonna move us into final thoughts. Sean, do you have final? Good Christ, we've been going 50 minutes. Jesus,
It took a lot.
we did. Sean, final thoughts on Glass.
I'm trying to figure out where this sits in, like, which I can now figure out is a trilogy of most hated or just terrible M. Night Shyamalan films that I've seen.
Okay.
Which are sort of Unbreakable, Happening, and now Glass.
Oh, The Happening! I love The Happening.
The Happening is
The
terrible,
Happening's-
but fucking hysterical.
Yeah, The Happening loops right round into fucking brilliant. Like, I think it's down to the presence of Marky Mark. You know.
No, it's the wavy trees for me.
Oh, well, they
Scary
run
wavy
away from the wind!
Oh my god.
Have
Do
you-
we need to watch this film?
Have you never seen The Happening?
No, I've never seen
Oh
The
my
Happening.
god.
Oh! There are so many good Marky Mark lines in this movie, but my favorite's got to be, Nobody cares about what happened to all the bees? It's incredible.
Hot dogs get a bad rap, don't they?
Plants can understand you when you talk. They've proved this with science.
Oh my
Like,
god.
what the fuck? It's, again, potentially decent concept. Terrible execution.
Oh.
Stupid execution. And Zoe Deschanel.
Oh my god.
Zoe Deschanel acting opposite Marky Mark.
Ooh.
With John Leguizamo.
Ooh, interesting.
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Should that be the next film?
Oh, it's on the docket. Like, the Happening's going on the docket. I haven't watched
that. Go on the list.
Last time I watched The Happening, I was really fucking high in a 10. No, that
I
was...
think I watched it on, like, I think it was on, like, Film 4 late one night, and it's just like, why not?
It's so bad.
Yeah.
But sorry, yeah, your final thoughts.
Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to figure out where it does fit into there, because it's something of, like, I hate Unbreakable because it's boring. The Happening is just terrible but hysterical, and I feel like it fits kind of somewhere in the middle. I don't hate it as much as Unbreakable, but it's still just so terrible.
For me, it's like, I found it very boring, though. That's the thing. I watched Unbreakable, and I watched Unbreakable when I was much younger, and I was like, this is fine. And, like, the ending's hilarious and stupid. But it's sort of, Unbreakable hangs together. This fundamentally doesn't really hang together for me. It's like, I'm totally stealing your final thought. But it's like, it just sort of, there are pieces that just don't quite interlock in a way that makes any sense. You're just left with this sense of, what were you trying to do? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's something. If I look back on this film, like, think of major beats, you've got just like, reintroduction of David Dunn, the fight between Kevin and Dunn, then everything in the asylum, and then Final Showdown. Really?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Final Showdown and Twist.
And Twist.
And Twist.
Yes. And Twist.
Yep, the M. Night Shyamalan patented and Twist. Shay, what are your final thoughts?
I
Yeah, like I said, I think M. Night's an interesting filmmaker, but overall, I don't like his films. He's definitely interesting, and he's not a bad filmmaker. He just makes bad films. Does that make sense?
Sorry, that's like a fucking box quote right there. He's not a bad filmmaker, he just makes bad films. Does that make sense? That's like some Patton Oswalt bits right there.
Here's a little known filmmaker called Albert Pion, who me and my brother love, and he makes bad films, but he is an excellent director. Like, you watch his films and go, oh, this is really interesting and kind of well made, but the films themselves are trash. Like, most famously he made the first Captain America film, you know.
Oh, the one with Reb Brown.
Yeah, which I haven't seen.
Oh God,
but
that movie's weird and bad.
But I think Albert Pion is sorry, I don't know why I'm talking about Albert Pion.
It's fine. Like, come on.
Twist. M. Night was Albert Pion. Oh,
Well, I know what you mean. It's because, you know, my go-to like directors who miss
like,
with me.
People talk about Michael Bay in the same way. Like, he's an interesting filmmaker, but most of his films are kind of trash.
Oh, I fucking hate Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, like, I've read and watched videos of so many fucking think pieces about like the actual artistry behind Bayhem and like, you know, the way that he does things. I don't think he makes movies that have anything in them that I like. That's the problem. Whereas like M. Night Shyamalan he does things in movies that on paper I should like. Like, you take Signs. Man struggles with bereavement and loss of religious faith in the face of an alien invasion. Is a really fucking solid concept.
I want to watch that film.
Yeah!
That sounds great.
On paper, it's fucking sounds really, really cool. Execution, you know, like, not quite. Nope, we fucked it up. It's a bit wonky. There's some good bits in there, but it doesn't work. You know, the Sixth Sense is a solid movie. I don't think it ever quite reaches the potential, because again, it was built so strongly around a twist that it just doesn't quite have a strong enough structure to really like live up to it. Because it's like, most people remember the build up and reveal of the twist. You know, I can't really remember much of the ending of the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, it's the thing, like Sixth Sense, like, I remember the twist and sort of the ending. I can't actually remember much of what else happens in the film.
Exactly.
So,
I remember there's a weird bit in the attic or something. He goes up in like a dark stairway or something like that. Maybe.
Is that not that? Wait, is that not the? No, am I thinking of that one where Angelina Jolie is the ghost?
What film's that?
It's another movie where it's like, it's actually kind of, again, it's a cool concept which actually works quite well. Is it actually, no, Nicole Kidman.
oh, The Others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Others is actually like,
Yeah,
The Others
that's
is kind of
really
legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen The Others?
No, not
Oh,
seen the
we should
others.
not talk about what The Others is.
I feel like you gave away the twist.
I mean, okay.
No,
The-
I remember watching that back at school.
Yeah,
Like,
I watched that when I was like,
Yeah.
I'm older than you. I watched it like, you know, in uni, I think. And it's like, the Others is like a really solid thing, because the premise is, it's like, family moves into house, weird shit keeps happening, they think it's ghost, twist is, they're actually the ghosts. And and it does all this reframing stuff, and you're like, oh, cool. And it's like a solid concept, and it works well. But I can't think of a contemporary I have to Shyamalan in terms of, like, a guy who makes concepts that I like, but does them in a way that I'm like, no, you've missed it. You know, because live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're getting another one of those. That's a thing that's happening. Yeah, it's a TV series. I think it's Amazon who's doing it, I think. It's like, and the original creators are on board with it and stuff, and they've been given, like, you know, they're being consultants on the show and everything, and they're going to make it ethnically correct, which is a good move. And they're doing it as a series, which is a good move, rather than trying to do it as a movie, which was a dumb, stupid, dumb poop idea, M. Night, you stupid, stupid piss brain. That movie's fucking horrible. Like, it's horrible
I
to watch.
avoided that film because it just looks terrible.
I've tried to watch it like 4 times, and I get like 15 minutes in, like, I can't, I hate everything that's happening. Like, there's a fucking fight scene. Like, one of the things for like Avatar is like, okay, it's magic kung fu. You want to get the magic kung fu looking good, and he can't fucking shoot a fight scene to save his life.
Yeah, but, like the fight scenes in this weren't that exciting either.
No.
They weren't like great fight
He
scenes.
did
was just
some-
literally, I ram you into a van, I punch you, done.
But I think he did more in this movie to like actually sort of mask the crappy choreography and way that he was doing it by like alluding to the fight more, like having things happen off screen or have people more reacting to stuff, and having a lot of the POV shots of Bruce Willis going and then James McAvoy going you know, like at the super close range. I'm like, that's actually, it's not a very interesting fight scene, but it sort of creates more of a sense of intensity. There's a fight scene in Avatar: The Last Airbender when like the camera starts over here, it goes,
Tracks along. Pans.
and then goes,
Oh, okay. Pans back.
It goes,
and then it pans slowly back again.
Yeah, it's just it pans left and right, and I'm tempted to get it up on YouTube and show you after we go off it because it's one of the worst fight scenes I've ever seen in my fucking life. Just horrible, horrible movie. So I'll stop. I interrupted your final thoughts, didn't I?
I was saying he's interesting. He's not a bad filmmaker. He just makes bad films.
Yes.
And also, I want to say we've done a lot of like cinema-esque criticism.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's not because the movie's bad as well. Like,
Yeah.
I hope we discuss the points of like being bad, and the reason we're doing this because we want to have fun. And
Yeah.
we just want to dunk on the movie because we're
And also, fuck Cinema Sins.
yeah. But,
That channel's
I
worthless.
don't like that.
Don't watch that show.
I don't want to do criticism.
Yeah, we don't want to do the criticism of nitpick and pointless
We kinda did
negativity.
a little bit, but
A bit, but like none of it works as a cohesive whole. I think is the thing we're trying to communicate. And for my final thought, shit, I went off on a fucking tangent, didn't I?
it was a good tangent.
Yeah, this kind of just makes me want to watch like a weird, lesser known Wachowski movie. Because there's a director that I don't know, a set of directors that I don't always get on with, but at least they're always interesting.
Are you seeding for Speed Races? That was good.
Maybe, maybe. It is back on the docket, you know.
Well, Jupiter Ascending's been on the docket.
Oh, I wanna watch
long,
Jupiter Ascending
since
again.
the third episode
Hey,
of this podcast.
Well, what's that film? It's like Glass that we just watched. What's that film? It's like that, but nothing like that. Speed Races.